Hello YouTube. It's been a long time since I made a video, so I'm going to start right off the bat by kind of summarizing what I've done in the last year and a bit. First, and maybe most noticeable, I got braces. Well, how well you can see them. I always hated my teeth. I was uncomfortable with how they looked and how crooked they were. So I've been wanting braces for I don't know how long. And we kept waiting, thinking that maybe one of us would get insurance that would cover it. And when Paul started the job that he's at now, they do have orthodontic coverage, but only for up to age 18, which really sucks. So finally, I was like, nope, not waiting anymore. We're just gonna take the plunge and do it. And really, I think my only regret is not doing it 10 years ago. I did have braces as a kid. It was supposed to be like it was going to be done in two parts, and I only did part one and didn't want to do part two when I was an angry teenager. So I regret that too, but yeah, so I have braces and they're coming off in 2 weeks. Which is a lot earlier actually than what they were supposed to be. I got them last November, and they were supposed to be on until May or June of this year, but I've been listening to all of their directions, and I'm doing everything they're telling me to do, so things moved quickly and I get them off early. I'm so excited. What else? Last November, Paul and I went to was it last November? I don't know. Now I'm getting confused because I'm thinking that I guess it only has been a year since I made a video. Maybe that wasn't last November. I was thinking we went to a restaurant that, yeah, it was last year. We went to a restaurant about 2 hours from here that Paul really wanted to go to. So we did that, I think, the weekend before I got my braces on, because I still wanted to be able to like eat and enjoy food and stuff. So yeah, we went to that restaurant, and the following week I got braces. December of 2013, Paul had another good, I don't know, I can never remember if it's an MRI or CT scan because he alternates between the two, but he had a good scan. In January, our niece was born, so I'm an aunt, Paul's an uncle. Because his family is Italian, Paul's not actually an uncle, he's a Zio. But I decided to stick with aunt. What else? It was kind of an uneventful beginning of the year. We didn't really do a lot. Paul was really busy helping. Well, I shouldn't say helping. I didn't really do much. He was finishing off a lot of the small projects in our house. Because we were thinking about wanting to move, and we were thinking that we would buy a house, like we would sell ours and buy another. So I think it might have been in September sometime, September or October. We had a day planned where we were going to go to meet with a builder, and then we were going to go see a house, which was a beautiful, beautiful log home about 45 minutes outside the city. The property was off the grid. It was all powered by solar panels and generator, which was pretty cool, but I don't think Paul could wrap his head around that. And then we went to see more of like a traditional home about half hour outside of the city, and it was a foreclosure. They don't really advertise that much here. I think it seems to be more of like a US thing where like it's kind of upfront that something's a foreclosure. I've sometimes seen it in house listings here, but not very often. So it was only when we were at the house asking questions about it that we found out that it was a foreclosure, and it was in really rough shape. You could tell that it had been lived in and loved, but it was way more work than we were willing to take on. And then after that, Paul wanted me to go by and see a lot of land that he was keeping an eye on. So we drove there and fell in love. So we bought the piece of land, and we have since listed our house. It's for sale right now, which is why I'm not in my house right now. This is my mother-in-law's house. with the 3 dogs, it was just too crazy. I didn't want to have to keep super on top of the cleaning. It's really hard. With the 2 small dogs, it's not a big deal because they don't shed, but the big dog, he sheds a fair bit and generates a lot of dust. So we decided to move into my mother-in-law's house while our house is for sale. Yeah, and that's the big news, I guess. We're selling our place, building a home. I'm gonna say out in the country, but it's not actually the country. Like it's further outside the city, but it's in a development. The road is like a dead end road, and we're kind of like, it's like a big J shape, and we're like up where it bends, and there are 50 houses on this dead end street. So we have one of the bigger properties. We bought 3 acres, and it's like a pie shaped lot that's narrow at the front. So I don't know. I'm interested. I've never really lived on like a big property or anything like that, and I've usually been in a somewhat, I'm not gonna say somewhat like town or city setting, but Paul has always lived in the city. He's lived in the same neighborhood his whole life, so I think it's gonna be a huge adjustment for him. I'm trying to think of what else has happened. I joined like a cancer support organization. It's not a group, it's like individuals, but I signed on to be a mentor. So I got matched with, first I was matched with a woman over in Europe whose fiance is going through, he had the surgery like Paul did, but has not had any complications since, so he's not needed chemo, which is fantastic. And since then I was also matched with a woman who's actually quite close to here, about 2 hours away, and her husband did the surgery, the chemo, and had to have surgery again. So I guess my role is kind of like to be there and be understanding and help them kind of work through the emotions that go along with being a caregiver to someone who has cancer. So that's been really good. I actually ended up meeting the woman who lives close to here. We went and spent a weekend in her city, and we met up with her and her husband for dinner, which was, it was really nice to meet her and put like a face to the name. And I think that's pretty much it. So that's kind of what I've done in the past year. Like, I'm sure there's all sorts of bits and pieces, but I can't really think of anything super exciting. It's been a pretty average year. So I'm just gonna cut that short now, and I will make another video to post up with this. Talk to you again soon.